Today we're going to talk to Brian Garner, Senior Criminal Defense Attorney here at the Arizona firm. We're going to talk about how his wife can outjump him. We're going to talk a little bit about softball, and we're going to talk a bit about the criminal defense and how to do it and how to do it right, and also one of the more challenging but satisfying cases he's ever handled. So let's get casting. I'm here today with Brian Garner, and this is going to be awesome because Brian's been a key part of our world for a long time. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I born and raised here. Went to Mesa High down the street.
Chiha.
The what now?
Chiha.
Chiha.
Chiha, chiha. That's what a rabbit made. The sound a rabbit makes.
We just called the jackrabbits, but
I'm a jackrabbit too.
Well,
That's
then went
why
to ASU. So yeah, so born and raised here. Went to school out of state. Spent some time out of state, but ultimately this is home. Family's here. I've got married with 5 kids. So between all that, we're pretty busy, and I mean, obviously stayed busy for a while. So now we're kind of enjoying them just growing up, being part of the community, sports, school, stuff like that. So things are good. We got the last one in diapers, hopefully out of diapers soon. So
All right.
Yeah.
So your position, where are you at currently?
So I do primarily criminal defense here with the Arizona firm. I've been with you guys for 3 years, and wish it was sooner, honestly, because it's great here. We have great staff. It's one of those things where you like coming to work. You like the people that you work with. You feel empowered and enabled to help people. And I think that's a lot of what criminal defense is just trying to help people.
Yeah. And so being the senior attorney in a short period of time, you must be pretty good at what you do.
I think that just depends. Everybody might have a different opinion on that one, but I certainly try. We try with everybody, and that's part of it is everybody comes in with different needs. I mean, a lot of times we experience people on their worst day, and it's the aftermath, it's the fallout of that, and so everybody is different, and so we try to help people. Some we can help more than others. Some they're helping themselves a lot, and we're just rooting them on, but ultimately we're trying to help them through this process and make sure that they get out on the other side intact. And then also, for some people it's a pivot. For others, it's more of just, okay, we're going to take responsibility and move on. And others, it's classes because they need help, and we're going to try to help them make it, what was otherwise a negative experience into something they can take away from this. And like I said, we just want to get them intact on the other side, make sure that this all gets kind of cleaned up and that they can move forward with their lives.
Yeah, that's good. Get it in the rearview mirror. That makes sense. And it is kind of cool to be part of that, that process to remind ourselves from time to time, you work for them. I mean, they're employing you, so it's kind of like, but they're also in a weird way looking at you as though, hey, take charge.
Yeah, it's a collaborative effort. I mean, I think that's one of the things that is really good about here is from the first phone call, they're going to get a team environment. And there are times when I'm just busy. That's how it is. I'm in court. I can't answer my phone. There's only one of me, but to have so many people that are all on the same page that are able to help, even if it's just, hey, you know what, I'm here to listen to you. And people are rightfully frustrated. People are upset. These are frustrating things that they have to go through sometimes. And sometimes our job is hurry up and wait. And so to be able to have somebody to answer the phone immediately and just say, you know what, I get it. Here's what we can do for you. And also, I see that Brian's available later this afternoon. I'm going to put you on there. And so that's the nice part, is knowing that I don't have to touch everything. I don't need to be on every phone call to know that they're still getting the best help from our firm and from our people.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, it is the way you've got it set up is it's very team, and your team is revolving around you. So every once in a while, you've got 3 appearances any given morning, or 5 sometimes. I mean, some mornings are slammed, and everybody has the same time in their head, 8:30 a.m. or 8:31 they put on the. And that's funny. I don't know why they do that. Just to be eccentric, I guess, right?
It's whatever they want.
8:31 a.m. court starts. Why
Yeah.
8:31? Let's hear you.
Well, it lets me be early if I'm there at 8:30, so
Right.
it's good. Yeah.
That's good times. So they all think that you're going to be showing up in 5 different courts at 8:30, and so to have that staff say he's there, it's going to be okay, hang tight, and to have them they're already bonded with your staff, it appears, from afar. That they call them first anyway, most of the time.
Yep.
And then you're really good about getting to them whenever. I mean, evening time sometimes, early morning, you fit them in. It's pretty cool to watch that kind of jockey.
Well, I think part of it too is we try to be available for them, and we know that people are going to have those questions or frustrations, not just during 9 to 5. It's not just during business hours, or sometimes they're going to forget or want a reminder. And so, you've set it up to where I've got this cell phone number that they have access to me. It's not always on, it's not always available, but for the most part, it's nice. And sometimes people just need a text message, just saying, "Hey, he's there. It's okay. This is just what we talked about,
right.
And you don't need to worry about it. You're not going to jail. We're just doing exactly what we talked about, and you just need to show up and let me do the talking. Let us take the worry from you." And I think having that availability certainly helps with people. Like I said, problems don't just show up during business hours, and so I think that's something nice that we can do for them is be available. And work around their schedules too. People have different hours that they work. They have their own lives and everything like that. And so just having multiple avenues of communication for them, I think provides, an extra layer of comfort. Hopefully that's what we're trying to do, is that, again, I'm not going to be able to answer all the time. And so sometimes the answer is, "Hey, talk to Ann. I'm in court right now, but she will get you at my next availability. I'm going to give you a call." And I think hopefully that, like I said, is something else that we can add beyond just educating you on the law,
right.
telling you what your options are. Is "Hey, we're here for you. We know that you're going through a tough time right now. Help us help you." And I think that's hopefully what those extra means of communication do.
Yeah. It's probably what you always wanted to do. I know a little bit about your history as a public defender. That's when you really got bit by I love this criminal defense thing. It puts folks like you in a strange pool, let's say, because it's like I love defending criminals. Okay, well, you're not Duck. Why do you love defending criminals? Because I remember very well early on your wife, and your lovely wife, she's awesome, is also an attorney, and as you'd been with us for a little bit of time, she very much commented, or she said something to you. I got this secondhand, but firsthand from her later, that she liked you so much more now that you're dealing with what you like to do.
Yeah. So I've had a little bit of a winding road to get here, touching on it as well. So when I was in law school, I actually was like, "Bag this. I don't want to do this. This is horrible. It's boring. The money's not worth it. The frustration's not worth it." And it wasn't until my last semester of law school I got to be a prosecutor, just in practice. It was real minor stuff, nothing that wasn't out of my comfort area or anything like that. But getting in a courtroom, seeing where the rubber meets the road, where like I said, people's worst night comes before the court, and so there's all these rules. There's rules of evidence. There's rules of procedure, and it can get so overwhelming. And so it was great. I knew that okay, I can do that. I can be in court. I can help people. And the hard part is when you're a prosecutor, though, it sounds bad, but you're the bad guy. You're the one punishing people. You're the one that has the rules, that has the regulations, that I'd love to help you. I get it. I honestly might have done some of the same stupid stuff when I was a kid, but you can't. Your hands are tied in a lot of ways by policies and procedures. You've got bosses that are trying to make names for themselves. So I was a really sympathetic prosecutor right away, but I knew that criminal defense was something that it touches everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're old or young, whether you're rich or poor, religious or not. Anybody can find themselves on the wrong side of things, and it's really tough, and it can be heartbreaking at times, because a lot of times I'm like, I'd have done the same thing, and
Right.
It just stinks that your neighbor decided to call the cops because they got afraid of your fireworks show or something silly like that.
Right.
That's fairly benign, but there are real consequences, unfortunately. And so yeah, I kind of experienced different areas of law, different practice areas. Like I did a homeowners association where we represented the people suing grandma for her
That's gotta
weeds
be
having
fun.
out. It was awful. I was like, I am the bad guy now. I truly felt like we're harassing people, we're putting liens on houses, and it was really, really tough to just feel good about that. I've done construction litigation where we're arguing over millions of dollars in delays and accumulated damages and stuff like that. And this is just one nameless company suing another nameless company and pointing fingers at each other. And so it was tough to, I think, find some personal satisfaction, because I'm not helping anybody except for the CEO get richer,
Right.
And so when I got back to Arizona, I was digging ditches for a while, like trying to figure out what I wanted, and fell back into the criminal realm, did criminal defense, and it was like a duck to water. I loved it. I loved helping people. You know, I've been through the court system myself in various ways, and it can feel really helpless if you don't have an advocate. And that's what we hopefully bring to these people too, is someone's going to fight for you. It might not be the style you want or that you imagined, but the idea is like they know what they're doing, so I'm going to trust them to help me, and that makes a world of difference, to just trust the person is they're going to help you. You might not even agree with them, but they're trying to help you. Like I disagreed with my attorney on several of my personal issues, and at the end of the day, I trusted him, and that was really, really nice. And that's what I try to help for other people is I've been there. I've been in your seat. I know how scary this can be, but know that I'm trying, and we're everybody in this building. We're trying to help you.
Right.
And it might not look like what you thought, and it might be limited in what you thought, but also there could be something you never even thought about that, hey, we know because we go here. We see these judges every day. We work with these prosecutors. We're going to help you out. Watch. And those are the best ones when you truly, I think, get to surprise somebody with, they thought their world was over. They're going to have to move, get a new job. Like nobody will ever forgive me. And that's really like sad and heartbreaking to have to deal with somebody. And that's also the greatest thing is when you get to tell them, no, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. And, help them through that process. And granted, there's going to be a little bit of sweat equity on their part, but at the end of the day, like that's the right outcome is they're taking responsibility. They're feeling sorry. They're doing their acts of penance, whatever you want to call it. And at the end of the day, though, like we're good. You're going to be okay.
Yeah. Oftentimes I think what gets lost in the magic of the trade, you're touching all over it. Your fingerprints are all over it on this. Is the solution side of things, the sweat equity that you just brought up. I kind of wanted to break that down for a minute. I found that interesting. You use that word, sweat equity. I like that. So sweat equity means somebody's got an alcohol problem or somebody's got a drug problem, and they're going to AA. They're going to with a sponsor, of course, AA with a sponsor. They're going to rehabilitation. They're dotting I's, crossing T's, and really, really giving a big effort. And so you've seen that part of that solution helps on the flip side, what you're talking about in the legal matter itself, because no judge and frankly the prosecutors start to change a little bit, soften toward your client a little bit too. They don't want to put that person behind the wall that's trying so hard.
Exactly.
And so that's okay. I like the way you put that. I just kind of wanted to understand that a little more slowly for myself.
Yeah, well, it's great when they care about their case too. I don't want to care about your case more than you do. And also I know that there are people that are going to come in and they're worried I don't care enough. And so, it's walking that balance. It's trying not to overwhelm them with like weekly updates like, hey, nothing new. Some people get anxiety with that when they get an email from their attorney like, oh no, what happened now? And honestly, nothing happened. We're just waiting for people, or like, hey, go do your classes, get me that certificate that shows that, and help me make you a person, right? The prosecutor, all they see is the police report, which like I said earlier, this is probably maybe the worst decision you've made, or you were put in a bad spot, or you've got problems that you're working through. Well, I get to go in and talk with the prosecutor. And I think a lot of people kind of conflate that with your buddy with them, and that we're two sides of the coin on the justice system, and it's my job to help them understand who you are beyond just case number CR 2023, et cetera. You're a person, you've got kids, you've got issues, but this is also you working through the issues. Here's more context that the police report doesn't tell you. They're going to, casually omit the fact that you were there because you're trying to help somebody, or the fact that, the next day you've already gone to work and trying to fix this and address this. And that's part of my, what I like to do is work with the person. Like you said, sweat equity, help me help you, give me the tools to walk over there and make you look great.
So every client you have should love the fact that you get along with the majority.
Yeah, not
with
everyone.
The majority of the prosecutors and judges, because that opens that door of that communication. That helps you help your client, and it helps you be a little bit more easy on the ears, or somebody that they like to see and work with because you're reasonable. And frankly, we both know that there's a fair amount of, I was going to go with the word dirtbag, but I could use other lingo.
There are some out there that will pick a fight just to pick a fight.
Yeah.
They think that their client needs you to be that bulldog in the
Right.
room. And, there are some where that's the case. And that's what I hope is not lost in that is we'll fight for you. If
Right.
there's a legitimate issue, we're going to bring that up.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that we have that type of professional currency with the prosecutors that if I'm bringing an issue up, they know I'm not going to just say it for the sake of saying it. They know I'm not going to just litter their desk with a bunch of motions when ultimately we can resolve this much quicker, reduce the client's anxiety, get more assurances on the outcome there, and then also limit the judge's discretion, which I love our judges. They're given so much power. They can really mess up somebody's life, and some of them are well-intentioned. But if we can limit that, if we can kind of, hamstring them a little bit and say, hey, you know what, we know this case better. We're presenting to you this outcome. And, we want you to go along with it. And here's the reasons why. When you have judges and they recognize, the Arizona firm, they recognize me as an attorney because I'm a regular presence there, that there, like I said, there is this kind of credibility behind our words. And so when we need them to exercise discretion, when we need the benefit of the doubt, we get that. And when we do bring those motions that are contested, when we do come in there and basically fight the fight, they know that there's legitimacy behind that. Not just, they're just doing it, this is what this firm does, they're just
not a bunch of hot air.
Yeah, and and all that does is working for the sake of work. We want to get to the best solution as quick as possible, or whatever it is that they need, because a lot of times there's collateral issues that come up, and right now let's focus on the immigration case, or let's let you focus on the family case, or I know there's a lot going on at work, so let me worry about the criminal stuff. You take care of you, right? And so there's lots of ways where I think one time you had said this in a meeting, and I've loved it ever since, is what's most important to you? And that's where we can start to dovetail and tailor our efforts is how can we help you? Because there's not a one-size-fits-all approach to everybody. So that's what we try to do is develop a good relationship, a trusting relationship, because we're going to ask them sometimes embarrassing questions. Treat it like a doctor's office. If you have cancer but tell me it's just a tummy ache, I'm going to give you Tums and tell you to come back tomorrow, and secretly you're toast. Right. So that's what we really like to do is try to find out how can we best help you, and we're going to put everything into that.
So interesting. I love the way you put certain things, and then so I make a mental note. So I want to kind of go back to, all right, judges have all that power. They do have a lot of power, and we've experienced that personally. Mm-hmm. Wherein, all right, something as special as a relationship with a family member or a child is in the hands of a judge, and in the hands of an attorney that you disagree with half the time, and that might be problematic. That you're an attorney too, so you're kind of disagreeing with this approach or that approach. But you said something that intrigued me, that you trusted him, so you went with whatever with what he thought was best in certain times. But that doesn't take away that anxiety, that nervousness, that unknown flavor that we get to see and you get to see in some of your clients, or if not all of them, to some degree or another. You get to kind of recognize that, been there, done that in a different way, but still the same theory. I mean, that's a very important thing going on. And that trust that you have for your attorney at that time, I find to be like what we're always striving to have.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to make sure that when we recommend something, because that's what they're paying us for, is our advice. We want to make sure that they trust we're giving them the best advice, and that there might be something that we know that they don't. They might know the facts in and out because they were there, we weren't. So help me verify all this, and trust me that with what you've told me, this is going to be the best for you. And I think that's one of the more harder or difficult parts of practice is, for whatever reason, they don't trust you, or they aren't taking your advice, or like, I know, but you need to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, we'll do it, but it's going to get denied, right, or it's not going to help your case. And then they end up getting a worse result than I think they otherwise would have had, because they're insisting on a course of action that, I just can't agree with that, or I think this would be better. And so that's really why we try so hard to connect with everybody on a personal level, because, we want to help you, help us help you.
It sounds like every case it could be exactly the same type of case, totally different one from the other, is what you're saying. And that makes sense to me, that you would, okay, let's get to that spot. There are some people that just, I guess you're screaming out there something interesting to me. There are just some people that just view you as authority, as an authority figure. No, this is what I want. No, I'm going to tell you, doctor, what to do. No, I'm going to tell you. There are some people like that. And crap, I've probably found myself being somebody like that a time or two here and there. Not trying to rat anybody out over nothing, but I guess I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Why can't this happen? Why can't? So, yeah, to get down to the brass tacks and to be able to communicate with somebody that this is what is for your best. This is in your best interest for the long haul and the short haul. This is the way we need to step. So this is how you're breaking it down for them. And just sometimes they just keep being persistent about a certain something.
Yeah.
But when's the last time that's happened? Because it seems to me that that happens far less today.
Yeah.
But obviously I've seen that happen.
Well, for me, a lot of those experiences I'm referring to is when I was a public defender. So that's a court-appointed attorney.
Yeah.
And these are ladies and gentlemen that ultimately, you hear you have the right to remain silent. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. That was me for several years. Worked in doing felony casework, and we handled everything under the sun. Some of the more serious, heinous stuff, and some of the more benign stuff. It's like, yeah, that's still technically illegal.
Right.
But and so that was a lot of it. Is like they didn't hire me, they don't know me, they've got 45 minutes with me.
Right.
That's it. That's that.
And that's on a good day, really.
Right. And if you're lucky. And that was just one of the biggest frustrations is there wasn't enough time for the clients to develop that relationship of trust, to build that rapport with people where like, yeah, ask all your questions. I'm happy to answer them. But now, now we're in the private sector. Yeah, it happens a whole lot less. And that's a lot of it is that's one of the values, especially with just how we try to structure our communications with people and also just the contract. We're just ask me all your questions.
Right.
I don't care if you've asked it before, ask it again. And I'm going to ask you questions twice. I know that you talked with intake about this. I know you've also talked with this attorney about this. Tell me again. And, these are important details, and here's why. And that's the nice part is we get to spend as much time as we need to. Before, it was as much time as you got. And now it's, we're going to do the best for you. And, not everybody needs the same amount of time, but that's the nice part about, the work week is you can set aside a whole morning if your schedule lets you, and just, I'm going to dig into this. I'm going to rewatch this body cam. I'm going to watch it on half speed because this is the moment that's important. That was stuff that as a public defender, I was constantly struggling to find time to do everything because I only had so many hours in a week and I had so many clients, and that was it.
Right.
That was all I could do.
How frustrating that is.
It was terrible. And like I said, there was lots of people that like, man, if you'd listen to me, I really am trying to help you. But they don't know that because they just showed up one day, they saw my name on a piece of paper, and they got 20 minutes with me, and that's about all that time would allow. Now it's great. I know that I'm pretty long-winded, but there's a reason why. I think part of that is coming from that world where like, no, let me tell you everything you could possibly know. And I'm going to tell you it again, and I'm going to just break it down into smaller pieces and smaller chunks for you. But the idea is I want you to know that we know what we're doing. This is the law. This is the court. This is the prosecutor. All that's going to affect your case. And here's why. Here's how. But this is also, we have a strategy for all of that. And help us help you. And we've got all the time that we need to do it. That's the nice part, I think, that I especially appreciate now coming from that world to this, is I can give you all the time that you need.
That's awesome. Yeah, the reason why you've progressed so quickly here, we've been happy since day one that you've been around. You just fit right on in, like a taller,
Well, you recruited me for softball, and the team never materialized, so I guess you just stuck with me as a worker. So,
well, we'll get to softball in a minute, because I can't wait to talk about that one, because that's a good old Mesa High sport. That's what we do. We do the softball thing. Until you retire.
Yeah.
Which I hung up the Spurs. It's probably your age when I hung them up. I wish I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have kept it going. You've got a good thing going with your brothers. Let's move along though. I like that you said, okay, we tailor make this. These people matter. Judge, prosecutor, client's expectations, what they can be doing to help themselves, the time that takes to materialize, and that we can jockey. So you're jockeying for additional time if you need that additional time to have that plan of attack materialize. So the clients habitually request. I mean, they request you. Now, when somebody gets a criminal charge, they're not exactly going on the Facebook or Instagram or wherever else they post things and telling the whole wide world. Now, oddly enough, some folks do.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Some do.
Yeah.
Yep. But most of the time, in your experience, it's probably not something you're advertising. But to have them send folks specifically, you need BG, you need Brian, you need Brian, you need the Arizona firm, you need Brian, because you listen and you inform your team how to march, and the fact that you just kind of, it's almost smooth. It's not even almost smooth. It is smooth. It's just like this cylinder running machine, to where everybody has a little bit of the weight on their shoulders and everybody's pulling that wagon. So I think that's super cool. Yeah. So after the end of the day, because you're not a big drinker, at least, I mean, you do the energy drinks and some soda pop and whatnot. So what do you do to unwind? Tell me a little bit about, because we just started touching on it. Yeah. And then I'm going to wrap myself out to the whole wide world in just a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be good.
Well, so like I said, 5 kids, that'll keep us pretty busy. But they're all pretty active, which is nice because then I have a good excuse to be active. Like I help coach my boys in basketball, football, baseball, whatever they're playing. I become, dad, coach / cheerleader for all of them, which has been really great. My daughter's in volleyball, and it's just been fun to watch her grow with her team. So that's
setter
a lot
or striker?
Of it. She's going to be tall like her mom, so she's just getting the serves over. They're learning overhand serves. She's only 9, but man, like that's
wow, she's already learning over.
Yeah, so it's pretty wild to me that they're that advanced already. And some of the stuff, like she caught one off of the net on her knees diving. I was like, that's a grown-up play right there. That's a big girl play. And so that's really fun. I try to stay active too, mainly just to try to keep up with them, just working out and playing softball, like you said, with my brothers and some guys that we've known since, I mean, honestly, like preschool.
Breath.
We just all stick around and just have fun in the dugout, making fun of each other and try not to hurt ourselves really at this point. Like it used to be competitive, and now we're just big and swinging as hard as we can, trying to swing out of our shoes and not hurt ourselves.
Well, I thought it was hilarious. You just said she's going to be tall like her mom because you're short.
I'm the little one. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the little guy of the bunch, and you're what?
I'm about 6'4", 250. Yeah. Pretty big guy by most standards, but when I go home for Sunday dinner, I'm just fitting in. I'm just facing the crowd.
You're the smaller guy.
Yeah.
You're the small guy.
Your
wife is tall though. She is a very tall lady.
Yeah, she played volleyball in college. She was great, just MVP of her team, setting records and stuff. So she's about 6 feet, but she could also jump, which is nice. Like that's not great for me. I can't. So hopefully they get their mom and her athleticism. So, but they'll certainly get the size.
I don't know. So you play at this place that used to be called Big League Dreams. I still call it Big League Dreams.
Yeah, it's Cactus Yards now.
Cactus Yards now. Yeah. Okay. And I walk all over. So I'm kind of that old man that just hermit guy that walks around in the.
You're that guy.
I'm in the shadows of what? Yes, I'm the guy walking all around that place, on the outside of it, not on the inside.
Yeah.
And I'm picking up balls that get hit out of the ballpark. And some get hit out of the stadium. So I ask you, what field are you going to be on? Where are you going to be? And then I'll rip on you the next day when I don't find any balls.
Yeah. Yeah. Some days I got the oomph and we can get it out of the park. And some days, like on Monday, it was a home run, but it was about 300.5 feet. Like if the guy had just put his glove up, he would. Yeah, but luckily he didn't. But it was just one of those moon shots that everybody just kind of sat and watched, which was great. But then, like I said, being the little one, baby bro, who's D1 athlete, he's just like, that doesn't count. And I was like, well, how many you got tonight? So, that's I think part of the fun, and it keeps you humble. Just when you think you're good, you've got 10 other people in the dugout ready to let you know, like, that wasn't that impressive.
That wasn't that great.
Yeah. Wait till Jack goes up. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, right. Oh,
Well, he's under 30, though. He doesn't have kids, so that
it's
doesn't.
so true. It shouldn't count for him.
It shouldn't.
It should not. It's cheating.
We got to tell him to stop hitting home runs.
Right.
But then he just starts hitting lasers at the pitcher. And we're like, all right, never mind. Go back. You're hurting people.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's a stud. Great guy. So.
I love it. I love it. So you unwind with your brothers, your buddies from birth till now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the coolest thing. Because when I started walking around Big League Dreams and you were telling me that you guys played and then watched Yellowstone afterward.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you've swapped. Have you swapped to another show now, or is it still
Well,
Yellow?
it started with The Bachelor, honestly. So we'd go watch that back in the day.
This is going to go live.
Yeah,
you know
well,
that, right?
I mean, let's be honest here. So it was that, and then kind of morphed a little bit. We were watching Yellowstone, and
you went more manly that way.
Yeah, I think we're kind of overcompensating at this point. We're watching like Warrior, this Bruce Lee show. We're watching, Vikings, and it's like hyper masculine now to where
you're getting it done.
I think we're coming around. So,
you're going back to possibly The Bachelor just to wash it all down again.
I haven't gotten into it in a long while now.
Is it still on? I'm not even sure it's still on.
I think they're doing like an old guy now, like a Golden Years Bachelor. I don't even know anymore. Like I said, I don't keep up with it too much. So
what's the age limit?
I don't know.
Should I sign up?
Well, it's something that you might consider, as a second career. But right now, let's stick you in the. Let's just keep you here. We'll try to make you happy, so you don't.
I'll keep on.
Your eyes don't wander. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm pretty good there.
Well, I meant professionally. So.
Oh, professionally, yes. Yeah. I don't know about that. Well, it's always an adventure.
Right.
That's the way to keep it.
I'll take lunch with somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So. You play ball, and your wife is uber cool. I mean, we got to throw that out there because she's like one of my favorite people on the whole planet, and I don't get to see her very often. A couple times a year with her gatherings.
She's busy, but definition of the better half. So I bring down the group average. Yeah, for sure.
You bring down the group average. Okay. Anyway, so when somebody comes in, I want to wrap the combo up with something that impressed me, and I was watching from afar. It's a client. We're not going to ident the client or the court. Juvenile, didn't look juvenile. Big fella.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that case impressed the heck out of me because they first charged him as it's a really heinous charge, number one. Number two, so I want you to kind of explain it. And number two, they charge him as an adult, I think, first, and then there was some fighting back and forth. This is where I got to see, all right, you've got every aspect of advocacy, of being a lawyer down, like solid, like the things that you just can't teach, that just come to a human being naturally. Like you have that, like the patience when it was needed, the letting the client know. This is the play and this is the patience. But this was high level stuff, and you just did it. You didn't ask anybody. There wasn't a whole lot of communal effort. This was you taking that initiative before it even needed to be taken, almost. So tell us a little bit about that case.
Sure. Yeah, so this was a young man that got charged with a sex offense, and those are really taken seriously. And he was charged as an adult when he wasn't of age, and they can do that, but that certainly is a big signal for us that they see this as more than just a youthful indiscretion. They see this as a criminal act. So it was a really difficult case to explain that to the parents, why their sweet little boy, who's also as big as I am at that point, but why is he in there with the adults in the adult jail right now? What's going on? And so that one, like you said, had a lot of facets to it. Just trying to talk with the parents and be empathetic, but also let them know, like, hey, he's accused of some real serious business. And then a lot of it too is listening to them. And because all I see is the police report, and the police report says this. So you tell me what happened. With that type of subject matter, it can get a little bit sensitive with the client. And, I'm just like, Mom, like, hey, we just need the room, and, I'll talk to him, and, you can be right outside, but I need to talk with him. And so that was part of it, is having to get into detail because those details matter.
Yeah.
And so we had to walk through that aspect of it and have him, like I said, just trust that, like, hey, I'm asking these questions not to embarrass you. Like this has legal implications. I need to know these facts. And so he's able to arm me with these tools that I then go to the prosecutor And luckily, it's somebody that we've worked with before, where again, there's that kind of professional credibility there. Like, hey, like this is, I think you need to look into this more because my client's telling me this, that, and the other, and it's possible that there's video of this, and so they're able to get that and review the evidence at our request. Because if we don't make that request, they're not going to work harder than we make them.
Right.
And so they do. And at the end of the day, they actually end up dismissing it.
Yeah.
And so that was really great to go through that process. And even with that, there was just a measure of like, there's satisfaction, but still like, then why does this happen? And so there's still an ongoing relationship, I think, kind of like offboarding, so to speak, or just working with them to make sure that the fallout doesn't keep spilling over, that he gets to move forward, right? He was acquitted, or they dismissed it, however you want to phrase that, and it still is going to have an impact on him. Like he spent nights in jail, like in high school. I can't imagine having to go through that.
And it was adult jail too.
Yeah, it was the big boy jail, and that can be intimidating, regardless of how big this kid is, a big football player. I mean,
he was. My recollection.
I didn't think he was a juvenile when you brought him in.
Right.
I was like,
my recollection was he was. He looked a whole heck of a lot older, but he was like 15, 16 years old.
Barely able to drive, and he looked like he could have passed for 30. I mean, he looked like somebody that I'd see at the softball field.
Sweet human being.
Well, that was the thing too. Is
out.
he's just a kid. He's a kid doing what kids do, and like I'm not going to pass judgment. I was a kid. I know what a horny little boy does. Like, not trying to be too graphic here, but like, hey man, like you. I'm sorry. So let's clear this up. Tell me exactly what happened. And it happens.
It was the smoothest. It was the smoothest start and finish of a very large, very, very, because the client's parents were very involved and very nervous, rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, but I mean, they were like overly like all over the place. But ultimately they calmed down. Everybody seemed to kind of march in unison after a first little bit. Once you started going, wait a minute, there's more to this story. And I remember hearing just little bits and pieces, but it was the smoothest, just adventure almost, but it was just smooth. It was like a smooth flight to dismissal. And then at the end, it's dismissed, and you didn't let it go at that point. You said, oh, wait a minute. This kid spent nights, like you just said, at jail. This kid's been slapped around by a system. This kid could call himself a victim, could pull a race card even. This kid could do all sorts of, but he didn't. But he didn't, because you kind of stayed on. Like, you held that rope a little bit longer.
Well, I think this was healing for the family too, because they experienced that trauma as a family. Like the mom, she's this kind of innocent bystander. Her son's getting arrested, wrongfully so. Like that will affect her.
Yeah, I think the audience needs to know this kid didn't do anything illegal.
Correct.
He was accused of doing something heinous as all get out.
Yes.
But some video and some extra push on your end. And so everybody was shocked right up until it was just kind of made right by the state. They did the best they could to make it right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't leave the accused in a better spot than they found him.
Well, it certainly was tough too, because mom is being told this by the courts, by the cops, and they're not just going to lie and make this up. And unfortunately, we trust them, but we need to verify. And so there was almost, I think, difficulties between mom and the son. And through this process, I think there were several times, even on the courthouse steps, like, hey, your mom loves you. At the end of the day, that's where all of this pain comes from, is seeing you, her son, being hurt right now. So everything she's doing is trying to help you and trying to make sure that at the end of the day, you're going to be okay. And maybe she's not handling it the way you thought she should, but just know that it comes from a place of love. And so I think going through that process kind of galvanized them as a family. It really helped them. She had to support the son through, he was accused of some bad stuff. And he's saying, Mom doesn't believe me. And so, when the truth comes out, it was healing for everybody that why Mom was so protective, because this could have got really bad. And then, son, that she loves you though. And like I said, it ended up doing a lot for the family more. And granted, you would love that to never happen. You don't want somebody to be in that position. But the fact that it did, and that was the outcome, and I just commend the prosecutor in that case for doing, acting with integrity. And because it's, some of them are they'll slowly comply, and do their job, but they'll let it drag on. And there's a lot of just collateral fallout that comes through that. People have to switch jobs, schools, move, whatever the case is. And so Like I said, I think in some aspects, it was that healing process that came through the justice system working. And that's really what you try to do, is help people within this system that's set up. Let's get the right outcome. And in that case, it was a dismissal and
some healing after.
Yeah. And some healing for the family, because they were on, and also hopefully this kid makes better decisions. I think a lot of that was just the teenage brain takes over.
Yep.
He wasn't doing anything malicious, nothing.
Right.
I mean, but now you're going to be a little bit more cautious next time.
Right.
You're not going to put yourself in a compromising situation, because you know that this can get bad fast.
Well, this kid may end up becoming a college athlete.
Yeah,
if he
so.
isn't already. I mean, and the reality is that he was able to learn from what my perspective is, but able to kind of learn what you were just talking about, that, hey, there's no youth brain, there's responsibility. You have to learn that responsibility. So that galvanization, that galvanized, you just used that word, I liked it, kind of healed, kind of bonded that family. And we've seen that happen. Weirdly, you get to see that happen with somebody getting charged with all sorts of different types of charges. Families come together, people quit terrible habits or bad vices, or start moving, upwardly or forwardly in life. And it's kind of cool to be part of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, that's why
you're
your wife,
helping people.
who's a gal of few words, but can jump, I'm finding out.
Yeah.
And great, that's good. She's a double threat gal.
Yeah.
That you were happy, and you were just happy to be doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool.
You found me lost in the wilderness. I was doing that HOA law, and I was unhappy because I don't think I was helping people, and a job's a job, and sometimes that's what you need to pay the bills and everything like that. But it was interesting when you called, I was just like, man, I'm gonna have to pivot all over again. And what if the laws change? What if I'm not good at it anymore? What, X, Y, and Z. And she's just like, you miss doing criminal. You miss helping people. You miss trying to help people. And that's the opportunity you're going to get over there at the Arizona firm is you can go back to helping people. And the good part is growing up here. Like, there's just tons of familiar faces on the staff, or like, oh, you're so and so's cousin. Like, I went to high school with them, and it's just nice being part of this community. And then we'll get people that we grew up with. Like I said, that like, you dork, like, what are you doing? And so you get to help them, and that's just nice knowing that you can do your job, but part of that is really trying to help people. We're not doctors, we're not anything like that, but these are real problems, these are real issues in people's lives.
They can change your life as much as any medical condition, really.
Yeah, sometimes more. And like I said, or like you said, it helps the family too to see that. Like I said, hopefully this is the worst day of their life, and that they get to heal through this process. They take responsibility, or they're doing their classes, or like you said, some of them have addictions, and they need that active intervention. But for the officer stopping them, who knows what would have happened? And so a lot of times, they are forced to rely on family, and that's great for the family. Because finally we're all transparent about this, and now they can start to heal. Now they can start to get better. And so that's the part that I enjoy, is, like I said, trying to help people through bad times.
Yeah. Quality people like you really spills over into that result, because that story we talked about earlier with the big fella, that extra effort, that extra mile, the extra after it all had been dismissed. That's the whole thing was fun to go, dadgum, BG's in the house. I mean, Brian's in the house. That was really cool. So it's like watching a show with this guy.